I'm Will Conway, I'm Artistic Director of Hebrides Ensemble, and today we are in St Mary's Cathedral and we're giving our first performance as a group of Arvo Pärt's Passio. And what's really special about today is that we're joining our friends Dunedin Consort. This is a project that's been in the making for a couple of years now, that we discussed a couple of years ago, and really we've been hoping to get our two groups together, and this seemed like the perfect thing around Easter time and Easter story. Dunedin already do wonderful Bach passions and other sorts of early passions, and this passion is for now, is written for today, and there's a really special feel about it, so I'm thrilled that we've finally got to this point to do that. I think what's fascinating about Pärt's trajectory, if you like, the way he's changed his writing over the years is, he started out with lots of ideas, lots of notes, much busier music. And then he had a period in his life where he wanted to be more contemplative. He really wanted to take a break and really search for something much deeper. And he stripped it right back down to silence. And he studied Renaissance music and Gregorian chant. And he really started to reassemble his thoughts, really, musically and philosophically. And this new style emerged where he was thinking much more even about the purity of a single note, and the beauty of that, and that too many notes confused the issue for him, and he wanted to refine it down. And that's what we've got with his Passio. After this period, he developed a style called tintinnabuli, which is really bell-like, literally bell-like sounds, and they appear in a triadic, so with intervals between them, of arpeggiated voice. He took that voice and he mixed it with a melodic voice that moves by step. So we had a real contrast. So he spends most of the piece juxtaposing these two voices. The other really fascinating thing about what he does is that he spends, the piece is about 70 minutes, and he spends about an hour in one, more or less, in one key and in one mode, in the Aeolian mode. And he changes it a little bit when Christ and Pilate are speaking. They're in slightly different modes, just to mark them out. But otherwise, the four instrumentalists and the four singers, the evangelists, are in this A minor mode. And this tintinnabuli voice, the triadic and the melodic, are intertwining all the time. And he gives, he begins with a solo voice, and then he adds the cello to that. And then he adds another instrument, and then he adds another voice, and so on. He works up till we get the four instruments and the four voices all singing together. Once he's gone up there, he starts coming down the other side and starts pairing it away again. And almost like a game of cards with a pack, he's shuffling the pack the whole time. So they're all the A minor, half of them are the melodic, half of them are the tintinnabuli, and whatever comes out is much more complicated than that and much more planned by him, I should say. But he's always changing it, so we never get tired during this hour of where this music is going. He's also giving the chorus, the crowd, when they interject, sometimes as a crowd and sometimes as Peter, he gives them a different key of E major, which makes them sound very different as well. So we've got this sort of monotone of A minor just going through for the whole story as the story unfolds. And then the real coup de théâtre, if you like, the very last page, when Christ finally dies and rises, he chooses the key of D major, which is a traditionally Baroque D major celebratory key, and that really hits you. I mean, it is so powerful, and it lifts us up to the end. And at the beginning you get the descending scale in A minor going down. Just for the first page, you get the bass dropping one step each time, and they sing 7 notes of the 8-note scale. And then in the last page we get 8 notes of the D major scale, so we've really achieved, we've really arrived. The charge that's sometimes brought against him in a way is that it's minimalist music that he writes. There's some truth in that in a way, but I think he's much more than just a minimalist. I think he brings greater expression to the music than that. And I think it really reminds me of a quote that he once describing his music. He said that his music could be described as like a white light which contains all the colours, but those colours can only be separated through a prism. And he's likened that prism to the spirit of the listener. And I find that a really inspiring thing to say. That's someone who's just got so deep inside what he's actually trying to express and the way he's trying to do it in the purest form possible. And I think you'll hear that in this performance.